like a ghost, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You love me like a ghost, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Just hold on, baby. I'm looking for you lately. It's been a little crazy, but maybe that's okay. Beauty like the sunrise, eyes like the moonlight. Hold my hand, it's alright, yeah. Love me like a ghost. With you I get chills. Ooh, I love the thrill, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. Never let me go. Walking through these walls, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. With you I get chills. Ooh, I love the thrill, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. Walking through these walls. Never let me go. Please don't close your eyes tonight. I need you by my side. Just hold on, baby. I'm looking for you lately. It's been a little crazy, but maybe that's okay. Beauty like the sunrise, eyes like the moonlight. Hold my hand, it's alright, yeah. Love me like a ghost. With you I get chills. Ooh, I love the thrill, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. Never let me go. Walking through these walls, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. With you I get chills. Ooh, I love the thrill, oh yeah. Love me like a ghost. Walking through these walls. Never let me go.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Icey Rails Podcast. I am your host, the Ice Dragon, Rayron VR. Let me go ahead and adjust the volume here of the music. The music is provided by Pretzel Rocks. It is a YouTube-friendly music service, if you guys were wondering. I always need something for background noise. Alright, welcome everyone to the Mythical Railroad. I am your Ice Dragon, Rayron. Welcome everyone. Hey, Unlucky Laura, how you doing, ma'am? Welcome, welcome. I know you've been busy with your channel and all of your content, so make sure you follow her over on YouTube, Twitter, and all that fun stuff for the latest in crocheting. We do have a podcast called the Triple C. Right now it's currently on hold because I am just so busy IRL because I am actually working on getting my master's degree. So that's one of the many reasons why I've been kind of just focusing on this channel because it's really the only time I have for. So. And it is definitely sporadic, but this channel has definitely been growing. It's definitely one of my biggest passions, along with collecting and manga and all that. But again, time has always been an issue right now, so kind of put everything else on hold for that right now. So, yeah. Let me go ahead and bring up the engine real quick here. Let me also get rid of this extra screen here because I'm not going to be using that. There we go. So only for this channel. This channel, so each one of my channels is very unique based on the community that I've been building. So here on the railroading channel, it's always good for the culture to actually show the face. Um, so yes, it's something I've been wanting to work on for a while and finally brought it back. As far as the collectibles channel, what I'm going to do with the collectibles channel, the manga, and the other one is that it's going to be a virtual avatar. So I'm looking to see. I finally get to. I want to create a virtual avatar based off the Railroad character of the dragon. So that's something that I'm going to be push forwarding a couple years down the road. I'm still trying to find artists to commission all that, getting a computer to actually support it, and so that's kind of the way forward. Right. So. So that's basically how this channel is going to go in the future. So I'm definitely happy about that. And of course, when it comes to this channel, I've been going to train shows and everything. So it's like, yeah, whatever, show the face. I don't care. So yeah, this is definitely one of my biggest passions when it comes to just creation content and so forth. So for today, we're going to be showcasing, this is the MTH 187 scale HO, or half of O if you were wondering what HO stands for. And this is the engine that we're going to be running on the layout today. And so we'll go ahead and dispatch this train out. So I'm controlling it via my Samsung Galaxy Tab here. And as this train goes through, I'll eventually put on the sound, but there's a few things I do want to talk about. And there's been some time between this episode and last episode, so we got a lot of updates to do. I am planning my next episode of the modular layout update video. There has been a lot of things that I've completed, and you guys will get a sneak peek here on the live stream. So that's kind of the direction that we'll be going here. So we go ahead and swing the camera around. So as you guys can see, whoa, stop. Come on, camera. Why are you not cooperating? There we go. So finally start to install the third rail when it comes to the wilding modulars. And so we've got it all laid out for the two rails, and the other rail is going to be adding the track here shortly. I've actually ran out of track, which is why I'm kind of at a pausing point right now, and the main dealer that I go through, Iron Planet Hobbies, thanks to good old Heath at Humanity City Junction, with his discount, Human, is just the best deal on the market right now. So I'm waiting for them to get some more Pico track code 83, because that's what I use, that's what I swear by. Oh, and if you look back there, you can see some posters from my other channel, the Endless Collectibles channel. I finally got those hung up. And needless to say, I've like doubled my Sailor Moon collection. Yeah, just a whole bunch of things. Just follow me on Twitter. You'll see all the latest updates. Okay, so like I said, I've been working on the third rail here, and let's go ahead and go to the multi-camera here. So now you can see kind of the whole layout. You can see over to the far left there on the screen, that's where the third or the second rail ends. I've extended my siding, so now I can park a whole bunch of trains on that siding. Yep, all the posters. And let's see. Down below, you can see where the engine's going. And it's basically all one or two rails. You got the siding, you got the main line. This is also going to be a stress test, because last stream I did, it was very laggy and dropping frames. That's because I was using my computer wirelessly through the Google Fiber router. I do have that now hardwired, so I'm hoping that there's no lag, there's no drop frames, that's stupidly consistent. It's great having 1 terabyte down, 1 terabyte up. I love Google Fiber. And I can actually upgrade that to 2 terabytes. It's something I'm going to do in the future, but again, we'll continue to experiment. So some other things that I'm going to be announcing, again, this is all kind of introduction to what I'm going to do to my next modular layout video. Um, Kind of what we're going to be doing is I've got some modulars that I'm not using on this layout. I actually have 3 modulars right now that are single track mainline that I want to find a purpose for, and I think I finally got it. So basically, in a corner of this room here, we're going to set up another point-to-point layout. It's going to be really small, like 3 modulars, and that's going to be basically my showcase modulars. I'll do spotlight videos on the engines. We'll do a lot more shorts from that 3 modular connection layout. So that way I have better lighting control, because that's my biggest problem right now is this room layout when it comes to the lighting is awful. I mean, if you see my last video with the HO cleaning train, the light was horrendously bad. And so I kind of want to control that a little bit in a more controlled environment, I guess is the best way I can describe it. But that's something that's going to be coming up. We're going to expand the N scale layout. We're going to do the T track, and then we're going to do a particular layout, and I'm thinking that we're going to go into LCC. Seeing the Amherst streams from again Heath, I'm kind of wanting to dabble into LCC, or layout command and control, that complements DCC, which is basically the direct command and control here for the trains. And I kind of want to showcase that, but we'll see. Curtis Lee, how you doing, good sir? Long time no see. Yep, my puppy dog, Panda Bale, Black Lab Shepherd Husky mix. How you doing, Curtis? Long time no see. Hopefully you're doing well. So yeah, we'll do an N scale layout that has DCC with LCC command and control. I do have a table that I'm going to convert into a Z scale layout, so that'll be fun. I've got a lot that I want to really dive into. And then kind of something that I've been toying with, because the Amherst streams that, again, Heath did from Amherst. If you guys don't know, Amherst is basically the top train show in the nation. It's held in Springfield, Massachusetts. It just happened. It's a once-a-year train show. It just happened this past weekend, and so the NMRA guys were there talking about the NMRA and so forth. And I've been kind of 50-50, and it looks like one of my cameras is deciding to turn. I may go fix that. Yeah, I'll fix it later. Yeah, the camera's definitely tilted. Living a dream. That's good. That's good to hear. Yeah, this channel's definitely been blowing up. Shorts are overpowered. Like, it has the biggest reach to the hobby, to finding new subscribers. We're well in the path. I'm hoping to get this channel by 1,000 by the end of the year. And then once that happens, and once I get enough time, once I'm done with my masters, we're going to focus really heavily on the endless collectibles, because that channel has so much potential to really get going with the shorts, because it fits my theme of content really, really well. And so I want to dive into it. I just don't have the time at the moment. But it's definitely things to come. All of the foundation is in place, because eventually, when I'm done with my full-time job and going to retirement, YouTube is going to be what I want to do, because I love doing this. It's such a fun hobby to do, and that's another reason why manga's kind of stopped a little bit, because I just don't have the time right now. Because again, I'm studying so much for freaking masters. So the things that I have noticed when it comes to the shorts. So here's a little Ray Run tips and tricks with the shorts. I have been experimenting non-stop with them, and from what I've noticed is that the description of the shorts is vital, and you want to use all the characters as much as you can, and keep your titling as basic as possible, because I noticed that the algorithm keeps it. The terms and the words are very simplistic for the greatest amount of growth. And so I've been doing basic. My goal is to basically do one short in 2023, I want to do one short for the entire year. So it'll be like 365 shorts. And that allows me to actually understand how the rig, or just to analyze and view how the algorithm works for shorts. And so I've been seeing a lot of things, and it's getting to the point too that if you just do one short a day, man, the algorithm will freaking love you. But that's the thing; it's about consistency. It's about putting out what you love once a day and staying dedicated to that. And so that's kind of been a challenge, but I'm starting to expand my short creations a little bit. If you see on this channel, now I'm kind of diversifying a little bit more. And yeah, it's been great. Like my biggest short here on this channel was like 15,000 views. And it's been averaging between 800 and 1,000. Now, there'll be times that the algorithm will just absolutely freaking hate you. Like, one of my videos just got like 55 views, but don't get me wrong, that is amazing. Because I always got to keep into perspective that when you have 55 views, that's equivalent to basically a classroom, maybe 2 or 3 classrooms of people watching your stuff. And so, when you get up to the hundreds, that's basically an auditorium size. When you get to 1,000, man, that just, you basically have a building worth of people that have just watched that view. Nice. And then I've been staying away from licensed music for shorts. I was originally, because licensed music does get you more growth and more expansion in the algorithm. However, there is a caveat with it that with monetization coming online for shorts, I think you're also setting yourself up for copyright strikes and copyright issues. And I don't know how YouTube's going to be able to do monetization with licensed music. That's going to be a tricky avenue for everyone. And so I'm just staying away from it. I decided to just not do music unless it's actually YouTube friendly music, and that's something that I need to do more research on, because those are the ones that I'll use for the shorts. So anything from Pretzel Rocks that's YouTube safe should be fine. But yeah, my goal is for this year, one short every day for the entire year. Because the goal is to get this channel to 1,000 views by the end of the year. That's my goal. But again, I can only put it out there. It's up to the community. It's up to you guys when we actually reach it. So, in the meantime, I'm going to have a hell of a lot of fun doing it in the process. And that's the other thing you got to be careful too. Even if it's YouTube music friendly today, it may not be YouTube friendly music in the future. And that is the risk. And that's why I'm solely using Pretzel Rocks, Pretzel.rocks, because I have known Pretzel Rocks for a long time, ever since they've come into existence. For when I started streaming, like 5-6 years ago on Twitch. When people were being smart about, hey, this eventually is going to get copyrighted on Twitch, let's get some copyright-free music. And I know the creators of Pretzel Rock. From Big Giant Circles to Approaching Nirvana, I've been great fans of them because they've been always copyright-free content creation music. And so when they announced that they were doing this Pretzel Rock service, man, I was solely on board. Because I know for a fact that it shouldn't be any issues in the long term. So let me get back to the NMRA. So I know, for those of you who don't know, the NMRA is basically the National Mile Railroad Association. They're basically the nonprofit that drives basically all of the standards when it comes to this hobby. It's pretty amazing because there's a lot of hobbies out there. Think of it as like, you got Warhammer 40K. Games Workshop is usually the top notch when it comes to tabletops and so forth when it comes to Warhammer. NMRA is kind of the same way when it comes to model railroading. They're just not a corporation. They're a nonprofit, and you've got other manufacturers that create to the standards of the NMRA, which is definitely a great thing. But then they also do something called the Achievement Program, which is something that I've had issues with. I'm not necessarily sure if I agree with it, considering this is more what I consider a sandbox-based hobby that you should be able to do whatever you want. But then there is a competition type element. You have competition at shows when it comes to train shows. You got the Achievement Program when it comes to NMRA. And I've been always split on how the NMRA handles new members. I know they're trying to do a new generation change when it comes to leadership in the NMRA division. So basically, the NMRA is basically worldwide. You've got a board that controls the NMRA, and you got members from all over the world on that board. And then they have basically divisions that run sections of basically the world. And they're the ones that should be monitoring and, how can I phrase this? Embracing the community of the regions to do the achievement programs, to be in the hobby and so forth. And then they've got this thing called the Master Model Railroading, MMR, Master Model Railroader. And basically, you have achieved the highest community known award, and it is definitely the hardest to get. They were saying at the train show that there's only like 800 Master Model Railroaders in the NMRA, which is definitely low to say the least. And so I've been thinking, I've been kind of going back and forth a little bit. But I think after I'm done with my master's, I think my next, because once I get my master's, I'm done with my education. I can tell you that right now. I'm in a position where, once I retire, I can live comfortably and then just do this full time, which I cannot wait for because there's so much that I want to do on these channels, so much I want to explore. And, it all comes down to escapism, and that's always been my number one focus, is showcasing escapism. For this particular channel, my main focus is the gateway to model railroading, and just showcasing how great of a hobby this is. All right, yep, take it easy on Mark and More. The Geeky Crochet, thank you so much for dropping by again. Follow her for all awesome, great content. She's definitely active over on the Twitter side of things. So yeah, thank you so much for dropping by. Again, whenever I get some free time, we'll try to do the Triple C. I know you've been busy IRL with the move and everything, and I've got the masters that I've been working on. So all that's kind of on hold right now, but we'll figure things out. And I'll probably have a crap ton, because I've been buying Sailor Moon stuff, so I've got plenty more stuff to showcase. But yeah, my whole mission is to showcase escapism. And the mythical railroad here on this channel is part of that. And again, my whole vision is that, I want this channel to be the gateway to model railroading. I want you to basically, those who don't know anything about the hobby, I want to showcase everything that's so great about it, and then to fulfill an establishment for the hobby, because we need this hobby to survive. It's the greatest. There's a reason why model railroading has been coined the phrase "the world's greatest hobby," and that's what I want to showcase on this channel. And a part of that is the NMRA. There's an aspect to it. And I'm not a member yet, but I think I am very close to joining. And the reason being is because, again, those of you who watch this stream, you'll hear it here first. But like I said, I'm probably going to do a showcase of the journey to becoming an MMR. I'm going to go ahead and I am like 90% positive that I'm going to go down this path to become an MMR. It's something that I want to showcase because it's something that it's just not captured well in the NMRA, just the journey of becoming an MMR and how much weight that actually holds, because there are some awesome people out there that do all sorts of great things, and they are MMRs. Just how much do we showcase? There's really only one channel that, from what I've seen, really demonstrates the techniques of being an MMR, and that is Nutrex Modeling, who I used to be a part of. I highly still recommend watching them because you got plenty of MMR individuals that showcase their builds and scratch builds and everything, which is amazing. And that's something that's the part of the hobby that I really want to get into. In fact, kind of behind the scenes, what I'm doing is I'm setting up a crafting table along with Fairy VR. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing scratch building, and I'm going to document all that. Because that is definitely part of the hobby that I am definitely weak at. I am weak at building buildings. I'm okay with scenery because I did scenery for Warhammer 40K. So on the painting aspect of the hobby, I am definitely I just got to reteach myself how to paint again, and that'll come second nature, because again, I'll just take those from Warhammer 40K, from model aircraft that I used to do with my father. So I know all about airbrushing and all of that. I just need to remind myself of how to do it, and then I just got to practice the techniques and so forth. So But yes, that's what I really want to do. There'll be a new series coming out that I'll do on this channel called The Road to MMR. And that's going to be basically the capstone of my entire life when it comes to model railroading. And it'll be nice to achieve that because then you guys can see that, hey, this journey may take 10, 15, 20 years to do. But then, it's documented on how a simple novice like me went from, hey, this is basically the fun of things to, hey, you know, let's achieve something with it and go after an MMR. And don't get me wrong, this is something that's not going to happen overnight by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. It is a time dedication. It takes practice, but the part of it is just being passionate and having fun. And I'm in a moment of time right now where, I'm still fairly young. I mean, young is relatively speaking. Um, I kind of want to start that process because now is a good time to do it because it's going to take a long time to achieve MMR status. There's just so much that you got to do. And with me diving into multiple different things, that's why I got the HO layouts, why I got Digitracks, why I'm going to do T-Track. We're going to go into an N-scale layout showcasing LCC. Um, the 3-rail modular that I got, the 3 modular mainline that I got, I'm going to connect. That one's actually going to get converted to NCE, so that way I can start understanding NCE systems a little bit. Eventually, what we're going to do too for the T-Track layout is we're going to do a DC T-Track, but we can also convert it to DigiKeys. I want to expand my series of to DigiKeys as well. How far can we take DigiKeys? So I kind of have a lot of ambition to just explore as much as possible because, when it comes to an MMR, that's what I envision. I envision that, hey, not only can you do the scenery, the scratch building and everything, but, how much are you in tune to the future of things? And that's why I strongly advocate that YouTube is definitely the key for the hobby to survive. I cannot stress that enough, and why I'm going full hardcore into this channel because I want to make sure that this hobby survives. And so that is going to be all this is going to get captured again in the my next update of the modular layout. But live streaming has always been something that I've done. It's always been a passion of mine because I used to do live streaming with Twitch way back when. I used to stream model railroading on Twitch. It's just never caught on, and it has caught on hardcore here on YouTube, so that's why I made the switch over. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting journey. It's one that I definitely want to document, and it's something I'll talk about in the modular update video, and that video is basically going to be kind of a channel update as well. It's going to be kind of half and half of where I'm going to start taking things. But again, I really want to do a series of the journey and documentation of what it takes to go from, hey, I just got back into this hobby hardcore about a year ago, well, a couple years ago really, and taking myself from a novice to, hey, this is the journey and this is what you gotta do to become an MMR. I think that'll be kind of cool to see. I'm in a very unique position to actually try to go for it, and if we get it, we get it. If we don't, then at least I have documentation showing that, hey, what failed, why didn't I get it, and so forth. But I am excited to do it. It is something that I've been contemplating for a while now, and I want to go after it. I really do. I finally got the inspiration and passion to do it, and so it's just going to be baby steps. And that's this whole channel is basically going to be that documentation from how far can we take Digitracks to soon the scratch building series that I'll be doing to just having fun with the fun run. This whole channel is going to be the capstone project to get to MMR and then take it to the next level after that, and to build a community to enjoy the passion of railroading. And sometimes, we get so wrapped up into these organizations, we get so wrapped up into competition to, the fine detail things that we lose spirit of what the whole hobby is, and that is just escapism. Escapism from real life. A way to de-stress, to escape, to get into our, I don't know, realms of happiness. And that's why I love doing what I'm doing right now. So that is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. I haven't found ways to really express it yet, and this live stream is going to be that vessel for that, and I just can't wait. So, and my Thunder Kittens are knocking things over. Okay, so yeah, that is basically a lot of my announcements that we're basically going to dive into heavily into N scale to showcase DigiKeys, to showcase LCC. Kicker, what are you doing? One of my cats is going crazy right now. So yeah, I am definitely excited, and we'll see what happens. So we'll be on this journey together, and that's what makes this so awesome. So on another note, this month from 25 and 26 of February, again, we'll bring the other screen in here. So basically, in San Antonio, Texas, if you guys don't realize that's where I live, is San Antonio, Texas. There is a train show called the Garden Ridge Community Center, and I will be doing a meet and greet. So basically what will happen is I'll be at the train show at the Garden Ridge Community Center. It's the 25th and 26th of February from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Cash to get in, so keep that in mind. I will be at the show on Saturday morning to do a lot of the things I need to do, showcasing it, recording, buying trains, and all that fun stuff. And then Saturday afternoon and Sunday, I will be at the San Antonio Model Railroad Association's building on the layout. You've seen so much content here on the channel for it, but I'll be running trains there. I'll probably be running my big boy, and I'll probably have my Humanity City Junction hoodie on. So if you're in the area and want to go to the train show and meet me in person, then yeah, feel free to drop by. But definitely excited for this, and I can't wait. All right, BCF Parts, welcome. How are you doing today? So what am I using for live streaming? So I am using Streamlabs. Streamlabs is something I've been following since the days of UnkBot, just to date myself a little bit. Back in the day when it used to be UnkBot and all these other stuff parts. But yeah, I use Streamlabs. It's something that I'm just familiar with, and I'm using that to do a lot of my live streaming with. And then basically everything else that you see is a basic Walmart desktop computer that's connected. Now, the one thing that's kind of cool is that I do have Google Fiber, so that's what's kind of making the stream stable right now. And then for the dispatch cameras, so basically I have at least 3 USB Logitech cameras. I believe, let's see, the one on the bottom and the one right next to it on the bottom right there are Logitech cameras. And then all the other ones is basically a security camera system. It's a Swan home security camera system that can have 9 cameras. It is literally 12 years old, connected to a 12-year-old Hodgepodge capture card that's being fed through the Streamlabs OBS system to get this configuration. So I am a firm believer of not throwing out anything. I tend to repurpose as much as I can. When it gets to the point that I can't repurpose something, then that's when I toss it out, or I literally scrap it. So I save like screws and bolts and parts, because I may tinker, because I love to tinker with things, and so I may tinker to build something else later. So hopefully that answers your question kind of in a nutshell. Eventually for this setup though, I do need to get an XLR mixer. I'm planning to get another XLR mic, because I technically have 2 setups. I've got my office that actually has content for all the videos that I make, and then I've got the streaming setup here for the actual room itself. And so I really need to upgrade this computer. I need to get an XLR mic because I know the audio sounds like crap right now. It's not the best that I can do. But I plan to get a Shure mic, because I've got, I can't remember what, I've got one of the oh man, I can't remember what mic I've got in that other room, but I've got an XLR mic over there. Yeah, and that's the whole point of this podcast. So eventually this podcast will eventually evolve. Right now I'm just doing I'm doing a lot of tech demos right now to see how far I can really take it. But right now, the whole purpose of this is just to have fun and run trains and just relax. So right now, I've literally, what's cool about this is if you see my videos about this layout, I'm basically inside the oval of this layout. And so I've got my command station here in the center, and I've got the train running around. So literally over here, here's basically the brains of the layout. It's a DCS 52, and if you see my Digitrack series, I talk a whole bunch about this stuff, and this is going to expand a lot more. It's just right now I've got to get the finances ready and in place to upgrade this, because I am unfortunately at a point where I need to get a proper command station, because I need to get a bigger block detection, because each one of these modulars is going to have a block detection. Maybe I can showcase that. I think that'd be a good time to actually show this. So let me actually... I don't know if I have this ready on JMRI. Let's see. So let's do something here. Let me show you, since I'm kind of talking about it. Let me add a source real quick. Let's see. Window capture. Let's see. I'll find it here eventually. Where's my window capture? Window capture, there we go. Add, and then we'll add a new source. So I'll show you what I've been working on behind the scenes here. So the whole purpose of this layout is I eventually want JMRI to be a dispatcher. This area will be a dispatching station where I can literally control the entire layout from my computer here. And I'll show you how I'm kind of going to that. I just gotta find the proper window here. Okay, sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of just show you guys here. So as you can see, as a train goes over a certain block here or certain modular, you can see it popping in red. So eventually, this is what we call an unwrapped view of the layout. And so you can see exactly where the train is on the layout. The problem is, however, is that I have a certain amount of blocks that I can detect. So right now I've got a PM74 that can detect up to 4 blocks. And so basically I'm able to get at least 3 of the modulars working properly as far as the detection goes. But as far as the other layouts, I've got to expand upon that. Now I have multiple different ways of doing that. I can buy another PM74 or 2 more PM74s to get, I think I've got like 12 modulars in total that makes this whole circle. So I can do it that way. However, it defeats the intent of the series of how far can we take Digitrack. So really the next step that I want to take is that I need a proper command station. So we're going to invest in a 240 plus along with 2 boosters, 2 10s, in order to get this layout into a proper show running layout. And there's just so much benefits by going that way. And also I can configure the command station to go to, there's a bigger, I can't remember the name of it. Let me go to Digitracks real quick so I can show you guys exactly the block detection that I want to buy next. I just, for the life of me, I can't remember the name of it. It's just some random number. Give me a hot minute, I will find it. Detection and signaling. Okay, it is called the BXPNN. That's what I eventually want to get. However, you do need a ground wire, and there's multiple different ways you can get the ground wire, but to meet the intent of my how far can we take Digitrack series, I need a proper command station to properly set up the BXP88. Now what's cool about that is that it's an 8 block detection along with a internal circuit breaker protection as well, and that's why I want to go after it. So I'm really excited for that. So yeah, cannot wait. So what's cool about this is that you can see that eventually the plan is to build a dispatch panel, and this is the prototype that I have right here that I'm showcasing to you guys right now. And this is all JMRI. And the block detection, again, it is from the PM74 because it allows me to break up my power and allows me to detect when a train is going over those blocks. If you want more information on it, I've done videos on this in my last episode of How Far Can We Take Data Tracks. So yeah, right now, the modular, basically to my right front here is where you see the first one here. That's Wilding 1 and 2. And then here I've got my signals. And I don't know if you guys can see my signals. Nope, it's blocked. Oh well. So what's cool is that I've got my signals. They're going through what's it called? The SC74. So the SC74 does work. Again, I'm able to use JMRI, and you can see I've got a red light, which will be a red light on my double head signal, so I can control that from here. And so it works just fine. It works just like an SC86 or whatever. I can't remember the name of it, but anyways, but I do need to update the firmware because it is glitchy when it comes to signaling, especially when it comes to the yellow. So I do need to update the firmware on it, and I gotta remember how to do that. It's been a while since I've done it. So yeah, there's the trains going over the first block, second block, and I'm hoping the third block works. I haven't been truly watching it here. Okay, so something's up with my second block here. I don't know why it's not detecting it. 1, 2, must be something. Let me edit it real quick. Testing range, create edit block, sensor. I need to go to my tables. I'm trying to remember how. It's been a hot minute since I've worked with JMRI. I know it's in my tables. Just gotta remember. I will find it. Yeah, so that was edit mode, and this is what it would normally look like if you see it from a dispatcher perspective. And you can do labeling, you can do all sorts of cool stuff with this. Obviously, this is still my draft layout for the dispatch panel, but slowly and surely it's getting there. I just gotta work on the bugs, gotta make this more presentable and pretty and all that stuff. So, alright. And there's a little bit of signal logic in with these signals. Again, I'm still working out the bugs with that. Let's go back to edit mode here. Let's see here. Where are my tables? Right. I'll do this later because this is the boring stuff of the hobby. Unfortunately, it just takes a lot of trial and error when it comes to the actual programming of it. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to showcase this since I kind of got onto a topic of JMRI a little bit. So yeah, I'm kind of happy where things are going. This is the end goal for JMRI a little bit, and when it comes to Digitrax, is it basically being able to run an entire layout on a computer. Now, what's interesting is that I like the idea and concept of LCC being able to have signal logic without having a need for JMRI. I think that's a great tool for layouts. I know Digitrax tries to do signal logic with their command stations, but it is like the world's most confusing thing to figure out. But I'm kind of interested in LCC, and we'll see. We'll see if I get into it. I kind of want to experiment with N-Scale first before I bring it over to the HO side, but we'll see. So yeah, that is basically what I have been working on. Okay, let me... Alright, there we go. So looks like the stream has been doing well. If you guys notice any lag, just let me know. I'm trying to do a stress test to see if my wired connection to my Google Fiber wireless connection is working just well. But I'm really excited where things are going with this. um, so yeah, let me go ahead. Let's see what we got over there. I'll bring another engine over to show you guys the other side row we've been working on. So again, what's cool about this, like I said, I can control my entire layout from this. I love this is engine throttle for the Android. I'd say that it's great. I love it. I get really spoiled by this. Okay, so we're going to bring up the Burlington Root engines. These are the California Zephyr passenger engines here. Once the daylight moves from the bottom camera, you'll see it on the siding. Like I said, I've expanded the siding, so it basically goes from here, from Phoenix Point, all the way to the end of the front runner that you see on the very left-hand camera there. So that's something that I've been working on. It's the reason why I haven't been streaming, because I've been actually doing a lot of layout work, laying down the cork, hand pinning the track. Alright, so now you can see the Burlington roots on the siding there. So kind of the goal here, again, this will be on all of my next video that I'll be releasing on the modular layout update. So where that camera is right now, that modular is called the testing range. That particular modular has always been my guinea pig for new experiments. So, but that modular is eventually going to go over to the shooting, or not shooting range. It'll go into the branch line for different content creation. I'll be creating a new modular to get full access to all three rails of the layout, and that's kind of the goal. And that will be kind of cool because you'll see a process of what I do to go from planning to actually building the modular, both on any rail design and then taking it full scale, to actually building it, to implementing it on the layout and getting everything set up for JMRI on it. So I'm really excited to do that modular. But again, it is the trying to get track. You know, I had to pause because cork was in short supply, couldn't find any. Now Pico Code 83 is becoming a problem again to find for the flex track. And for the switches, for the Unifrogs, I'm a big fan of Pico Code 83, especially when it comes to their switches and to their Unifrogs. They are expensive, and yes, I do want to bring Fast Track into this channel. I want to get into that really bad, but again, it is a $500 pretty much investment to get all of the parts that you need to create turnout 4 or 4 turnouts. Or number 4 turnouts. So, yeah, number 4 and number 5. So those are the two that I usually dabble in the most. So eventually, we'll get Fast Track on the channel. It is another goal of mine to do. Each feed, so new viewers can know what each location. Yes, I can. That is something that I want to eventually. Sorry, I just noticed that you put that comment there, BCF. So I apologize. It is something that I know Humanity Junction does it. It's something that I want to do. But again, this is more of a tech demo. And that is something I will work towards in the future. The only reason why I haven't done yet is because this layout is going to change. It's not going to be the set in stone layout. I've got 9 other cameras that I want to set up. First I gotta find them and buy them, and so that way I can add even more cameras to this to really stress the system. But yeah, that is something that I can do. So that way you can see the modular name and so forth. Yeah, that's something that I can do. Cool, so let's go ahead and I'll bring, debating what I want to do here. Yeah, each one of these modulars has a particular name. Some people name their modulars based on the area that they're modeling, depending on how prototypical it is. Me, I do it completely fantasy style. So, well, it kind of depends too. Some of these modulars are actually named after people, and I'll explain here in a second. So, this modular behind me is called Phoenix Point. It is basically a 2-to-1 junction. It has a code 83 Pico Unifrog switch on it, connected to a DS64 that allows me JMI control, or local net control. You can see kind of the local net cable here, to allow me control on JMRI. This module right here, you can see it on, well, you can't really see it per se. I'll get more cameras so you can see all these modulars, but over here is a harbor point. It's basically going to be a sea modular that'll put boats and water and all that cool stuff on it. I do have a flex section that I don't have really a name, it's just a bridge. And then all of my other corners, it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 modulars that have 3 rail track on them. They are called wilding. So I bought these from my old club member, and it basically it was initially called Wilding, named after David Wilding, who that member unfortunately passed away, and I was able to buy it off the member, and those modulars are going to be completed to the original design style that they were going to complete. So one of the corners, so that one back there, that corner is actually complete, and you'll see that in my videos that one's actually fully complete, and all the other 5 modulars are going to be very similar to that one, because I want to keep it as how the original creators wanted it to be. So yeah, so I'm calling it the Wilding 6. Originally there were 8 of these corners. Unfortunately 2 of them got damaged and were unsavable. So there are only 6, but eventually I would like to create and build the other 2 once I have my I gotta build up my skill on bench work. And so once my skill with bench work is a little bit better, I have the right tools, and once I have a proper workshop to do bench work and table work and so forth, then I'm going to challenge myself in building the other 2. But for right now, it's kind of on hold. But and then, like I said, you got testing range modular. That is basically my guinea pig for anything that I want to experiment with. When it comes to scenery, when it comes to wiring, it's where I have my signals right now. And I need to put a camera right on the signals. That's something that I think I'll do for next time. These camera angles are fine, but they're bothering me a little bit because there's still some blind spots in the layout that I kind of still want to capture. And it's definitely something I need to do. Okay. And originally, I really wanted to put the Bachmann GS4 Daylight because I do have a GS4 steamer. However, oh, Bachmann, I love you to pieces, but your GS4 sucks so much. It's so terrible. It kept derailing. It didn't like the turns. And I had to put the 1996 on there because I had the passenger cars and I wanted to do some content. So I got some shorts coming out on this train. And it still looks pretty. I love it. Again, I am not a prototypical modeler by any stretch of the imagination, which is going to be very difficult considering that I want to be an MMR on top of that. So I don't know how I'm going to do it. But again, that's something I can't wait to document. I appreciate it, BCF. Thank you so much. One thing I'll try to figure out too is with Streamlabs, I got to figure out how to showcase the text onto the actual screen here. I know I was able to do it before, but I can't freaking remember how to do it now. And that's another thing too. I may switch from Streamlabs to actually going back to OBS. It's to the basic OBS because there's a lot of good things with the standard OBS that I like. So that's another idea I'm kind of toying with right now if I want to go back. But I may do that once I upgrade this computer because I really need a new computer for this setup. It's a miracle that everything is working as well as it is right now. So I'm working off of, actually that's actually a pretty old computer too. I'm basically working off of, I think, a 5-year-old computer with a 12-year-old capture card with a 12-year-old home security system with the cameras. Yeah, it's it's a Frankenstein configuration, to say the least. Kind of another thing too that I really haven't been talking about. We talk about as far as setup when it comes to this layout. This layout is actually voice control for the most part. Minus now, when I say voice control, I'm meaning turning the entire system power on and off. I basically got a Google Nest system that you can blame Heath on this one. We've recently discovered that you've got like these voice control outlets, and these outlets you connect it to either Amazon or to Google Nest, and then if you have like a Nest interface, you can basically give Google commands like, hey, turn off all the outlets, turn on all the outlets, and that's how I have it set up. So it is ridiculously convenient to turn on and off the entire layout. So it's pretty cool. Once I dug into that rabbit hole a little bit, oh man, I was hooked. I was hooked big time. So I do have some videos coming out. So I think on Friday or this weekend, I try to do at least one video a week. That's my goal. Obviously, I will do a short every day just for something. And I'm kind of rotating the content a little bit. I've got mini prints, videos that I've got on shorts coming out. I've got some more turntable art because if you look at all my older videos on this channel, I do turntable stuff, just showcasing a particular item or spotlighting a certain item. Those videos are going to go over to short format because they're definitely more suited for that. And then I always have a ton of Samurai short videos that I can post every day for you guys. It's always cool. It's a proper club layout. I am fortunate enough to have a great big layout with Samurai, San Antonio Mine Railroad Association. And I'm fortunate to have the space here to actually have my own private layout as well. So I'm trying to do as much content as I can because I understand that not everyone's going to have those opportunities, and I just want to showcase that to the world. It's the great thing about the hobby. There's so many different ways to get into it, to have fun with it, and enjoy it. So definitely excited. Also, another thing too. So in February, like I said, we got the train show in San Antonio. If you're going to be in the local area, I will also 100% will be at the NMRA in Dallas. It's a 4-hour drive away from me. I will be there. I will make it happen. And so if you guys are going to the NMRA convention in Dallas, Texas, or it's near Dallas, one of the suburbs of Dallas, I will be there. I'm on a mission to get scanned by Mini Prints. I have a whole outfit that I cannot wait. I've got all the pieces on order, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be unique, and that's what I like about it. It fits everything of what I do. I am definitely excited. But yeah, if you guys got questions, yeah, feel free. Again, this is a essentially a fun run on the podcast. These podcasts right now, I would eventually like to have guests and so forth. But again, this is a very new concept. I'm still trying to figure out how to morph it. And basically, it's a fun run. We're showcasing the layout. We're running some trains, and we're chatting. So feel free if you got any questions, comments. Feel free to interact. But I am loving this. I think this is the longest episode yet, too. Man, it's already 8:30. Oof. So I'm on Central Time. If you guys didn't realize that. Yeah, we officially 1 hour. Not bad. Not bad at all. And eventually, what I would like to do too is once, because I got a lot of shelves too. Once I get all the shelves up and going, and all my trains have a dedicated home, if you guys want to see a train to run, then that's something I want to do in the future too. That's viewer requested train running on the layout. That's definitely something I want to do. You can blame SMT Mainline for that one, because that's where I got the inspiration. It's like I love SMT Mainline. I love Humanity Junction. Mini Prints. There's so many different content creators out there that I'm starting to lose track. There's so many good people doing good stuff on YouTube. I am definitely excited. The future is bright when it comes to this hobby. That is for sure. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I do have a big boy back there that I gotta keep in mind. Let's actually get the big boy out. Um, it wouldn't be so. Yeah, if you guys don't know, let me briefly. If you guys don't know what I model, so I am a huge collector of Union Pacific family tree. So not only do I collect, Union Pacific proper, I don't tend to do any modern trains. The only modern thing that I will really go into is the SC70 ACE that you see this one running. That's about as modern as I'll get. I tend to model and collect Union Pacific family tree items, typically of the transitional era. So the big boys, the challengers, the FEFs, and I will collect anything under the UP family tree. So you got Chicago Northwestern, you got Southern Pacific that's running right now, Missouri Pacific that I tend to feature from time to time with the Colorado Eagle passenger train. What other ones do I model? Chicago Northwestern is another one that I model. So it's a pretty big, and then there'll be some outliers. Like I do have some specialty trains, like you see the front runner, the Utah Transit Authority front runner, the white, blue, and red train that you see over there. That one's very special to me because I've actually ridden that one several times when I was in my hometown. So that one is very special to me. And then I do have the California Zephyr that I run from time to time. That one's sentimental because that train set I got from my father. So a lot of cool things. So that's what I tend to model is Union Pacific stuff. Okay, big boy. Let's go ahead and bring the big boy out. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it on JMRI so you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it, but the torus is switched. Let me release. I'm going to grab the 4014. And of course, we got to hear the sound on the 4014. Or not 4014, sorry, 4018. Alright. So the 4018 is coming off from the siding at Phoenix Point. You can see it on the far left middle camera. Right now, it's just a short train. Let me switch it back for the daylight. So if you guys don't know, the 4018 is one of the Survivor big boys. It is currently in the Dallas area, if I remember correctly. It will be probably the first big boy that I'll have on this channel. I'm definitely excited to go see it. So this 4018 is a River Rossi big boy. And out of all of the companies that have created big boys, I like River Rossi. I really do. But eventually, we'll have a Broadway Limited. I do have an Atherin 4019 big boy, but I gotta do a complete overhaul of the decoder. It has a Tsunami 1 decoder, which is giving me all sorts of freaking problems right now. So I gotta switch it out, probably for the Soundtracks decoder, is what I'm looking at converting it to. I've seen a lot of good YouTubers talk about the Tsunami decoders. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. So we got the daylight and the 4018. And the 4018 has its two auxiliary water tenders. You can kind of see it coming from the background there. I'll probably bring out my my big blow turbine for next stream again too. I'll probably do a turbine. That's what I should do. Because I've got an MTH veranda turbine, Gen 1 turbine, and we got the big blow. I will probably do a turbine May actually do a turbine special for next year. Let's see. So I'm kind of debating which trade I want to park, which trade I want to bring out. Cool. So yeah, I don't think I have anything else that I really wanted to talk about. I think I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about. And right now, just watching trains run for the fun run. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for the future and what I got planned for this year. Can't wait. So one thing I forgot to mention: these coaches are the Atherin Blue Box coaches. They're not the best. I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of Atherin Blue Box engines and freights. They're really good. But when it comes to passengers, I got spoiled by IHC and Riverossi coaches. Those coaches are so good. And even some of the two-axle Walthers coaches are pretty good. Now, the three-axle coaches from Walthers, I'm not a fan of them. And even with the scale trained water tenders, I'm not a fan of them either because one thing I've noticed about these water tenders, they are three-axle wheels. And the way I've been having issues with them because the middle wheel is a little bit lower than the other two wheels. So if your alignment is not right on these modulars, it'll pick and it'll derail. It's really, really finicky. Scale trains I have a love-hate relationship with because, don't get me wrong, Scale Trains has the best detailing of any manufacturer that I've seen and from what I've experienced. However, that's also a double-edged sword. There's so much details that you can't make the stupid things run right because the small little details will either catch a wheel, catch a piece of the scenery, and derail. It's kind of annoying. It's frustrating, but I'm praying that Scale Trains will make their Daylight GS4 units because I know they bought them from MTH. They have the tooling for the GS4 Daylights. And it's like, I wish they would hurry up and make those. Because I'm tired of dealing with Bachmann with the GS4s, the trash. And the MTH ones and the Broadway Limited ones that are out there, they were limited runs. And they're super expensive to get now. So, Scale Trains, please hurry up with the tooling for the GS4 Daylights. I have my money. Oh, man. Alrighty. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's, I think we'll do is probably, see, the way this layout still has issues because I only have one turnout here, and I have to stop all the other mainline trains to just back up into the siding. It's definitely annoying. It's definitely something it's my next big focus to fix that. However, it requires building a new modular. So it's a little bit annoying to park engines in trains because I always have to back into the siding. So we'll go ahead and park the big boy there. We'll let the daylight go for a little bit. I'll showcase. Got the Burlington Northern that's on the siding there. And then I'll showcase kind of the front runner, and then I think we'll call it a stream. we'll speed up the 4018 a little bit. Yeah, so this is unfortunately the downside to this layout right now. Is like I've got to stop all mainline trains just to back into that siding. Eventually, I'll have pull-off siding, so that way this doesn't become an issue anymore. So you can see the big boy parking into the siding there. Alright, and then we'll switch our track here. Alright, and we'll let the daylight go through. So that's basically how I get trains on and off the siding. Alright, so I'm going to release 4014 here. Let's get the Burlington Northern pushed forward a little bit. Or the Burlington route. It's not Burlington Northern, Jesus. Totally different. Okay, so that's actually a good question, BCF. So my layout, the electronics and the track work are Fremo standards, minus the bench work. So my bench work is actually smaller than Fremo standards. My modulars are 12 inches, 12 inches wide by typically 3 feet in length. And that's just to fit my requirements for my space and my layout. They are definitely, when it comes to the bench work, not Fremo standards whatsoever, but my layouts can connect to Fremo standards. And if you really want to push it, I can connect it to NMRA too. It's just going to offset when it comes to the bench work. So, yeah, I follow Fremo standards when it comes to the electronics and when it comes to the tracks. Now, for this layout, I'm using, as far as the electrical work is a little bit different, but I can convert it to convert. I can convert it to Fremo if I need to. So I can take this layout apart and connect it to a Fremo layout. But I'm doing a little bit. I'm doing something different for this layout. I'm actually converting it to where I can get block detection on each independent modular. And so the way I do that is each module will eventually be isolated both underneath with the wiring and with the track above. So it's only being fed from one central point and dispersing into 16 different points. And that's how I'm getting my block detection via Digitrax. Now, is that the efficient way of doing things? Definitely not. There's other ways of doing this. That's the great thing about this hobby. There's more than one way to skin a cat, essentially. And so the way I'm choosing to do it is isolating all the modulars and all the wiring go to one central point, which will eventually be those BPX 88s, whatever, all to my command station. So, no, good question. And I'm trying to do a new signaling concept too. Fremo, so what I've been seeing from Fremo, they've been doing two different things. They have a signal modular, which I think is a great concept. Basically, you have like a 12 or a 24-inch wide by like 12-inch deep modular that's just dedicated for a signal system for the layout. And then there's others that I can't remember. It's an independent bus line for the signaling systems, but it's confusing as all heck to figure out. I've never been a fan of it. If you watch my episode 1 of How Far Can We Take Digitrax, I showcase my theoretical concepts for how I connect signaling and everything. Because I'm going like super crazy with it by using like RJ50 connectors, breakout boards, and it's just radical what I'm trying to do. Definitely not the most cost efficient, definitely probably not the most space efficient. Just something I'm doing. To bring ideas, I like to brainstorm and create new theoretical concepts. But yeah, all the wiring underneath, use Anderson connectors. I have my sub buses. What's cool though, my sub buses, I don't think I have it. Yeah, let me grab them real quick. So I don't use the prototypical terminal buses that you gotta use like a screwdriver or anything with. Amazon sells, and you've probably seen these in other streamers too, but these are the keymars. I got this off of Amazon, and what's cool about it is that there's these guys. So basically, what you can do is that you bring your main bus here, you bring your main bus in the center, and then you can split your sub buses with the other connectors here. And using this, you don't need to put those hook connectors. You don't need to strip additional. Well, I mean, you still got to strip it here, but this saves me so much time because there's just less tools involved that I need to use when I go to wire my modulars. So essentially, this is my terminal bus right here, because this basically splits one wire into 3. You got your main bus and then 2 sub buses that you can use for your power. And you can do this with your accessory bus too. You'll just need a second one. So you can use one for your track power, use one for your accessory bus. It has revolutionized and it has sped up my wiring on these modulars by at least 75%. Because you guys are probably used to something like this. This is the old school terminal buses here. And again, you got to put these frog connectors or whatever connectors you want to call. And you know, you always have to crimp them. You got to strip them, and then you know you got to jump them. I mean, you can just see the difference. This basically does what this does too, but it saves me so much more time. So yeah, if you definitely want a good terminal bus, I love using these. I'm trying to think. So there's kind of a cardinal sin that I do. Again, I really wouldn't recommend it, but so when it comes to electronics, you know, you got 2 different types of wires. You have stranded wire and you got the solid wire. Whenever you can, if resources allow you to, always get the solid wire because it's so much easier to deal with. But I grew up, well, me and my mentor from my old club, we use basically this type of wire. This is stranded wire, but this allows us to do the types of buses. So you use 2 colors for your track power. You can use the other 2 for accessory. All in this nice little compact ribbon cable, essentially. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is that this is technically stranded wire. Stranded wire is a little more difficult to work when you need to crimp things together or connect things together. And that's where you've got these crimpers here. I can't remember the name of the crimpers. I do apologize. I'll have to. Oh, Ferrorule crimpers. And so basically, what it does, you've got basically these connectors here. I don't know how well that's going to capture on camera, but basically, it converts your stranded wire to a solid connection point. These are very useful because if you've done any type of electrical work, stranded wire, you always got to twist it together to make sure you get somewhat of a solid connection. But after time, when you put the wire into like a terminal block, it can wiggle out essentially. And by using the crimper, the ferrule crimper, you put it together and you crimp it essentially. It saves you a lot of time and hassle. And again, I think I got this kit off of Amazon. But yeah, if you want to know more about it, that's the kit that I got. All sorts of different sizes. So I've been debating if I want to do an episode just dedicated on wiring and electrical stuff. I think I will, but I'll have to find a time. So yeah, I love this little crimper, especially with all the stranded wire that I use. And then of course you got your Anderson crimpers. And your your typical stripper wire. So Split Rock, how you doing, good sir? At this point, we're just running the daylight. We are chatting. I'm just rambling. I mean, we got so off the rails that I was talking about the Ferrule crimper. Love this thing when you're working with stranded wire. So yeah, currently running the Heritage Union Pacific 1996 Southern Pacific. Yep. The coaches are Athearn Blue Boxes. Again, I'm not a fan of them. They're definitely old school cars that cause a lot of problems. It's a miracle they're running well, knock on wood, right now. And then swing the camera here so you can see it go by. So yeah, like I said, if you guys weren't here from the very beginning of the stream, I have been working on the layout. As you can see from that bottom camera, we've got the second rail all installed on the turns. So now I have a very big siding. It goes from Phoenix Point back here, which is a 2-to-1 connector, all the way to where you see the front runner at the camera top left. So I'm 50-50 on Athearn. So I love and respect Athearn's Blue Box engines, and I love their freight cars. When it comes to coaches, I've always had problems with their coaches, from the couplers to the freaking trucks that they're on to the wheels. I've had issues. It's a miracle this train is working right now. I don't know how it's working well right now, but I'm not a fan of them. My first choice for passenger cars, 100% IHC, AHC, River Rossi coaches. Matter of fact, that coach car right there, I probably can't see it, from Union Pacific is River Rossi. And the one behind it is the 2-axle Walthers. I've actually been a fan of the Walthers cars. They're not too bad. But I do have issues with the 3-axle Walthers passenger cars. I tend to stay away from them. So yeah, I've been working on we got the second rail siding there, so now I have plenty of space to park trains, which is what my biggest issue I was having. The third rail there will be completed soon. I got to build another modular to get full access to that third rail, to pull in and to pull out of that sidings. Because right now I've got to reverse onto Phoenix Point to make use of that one siding that I have right now. But that'll be all in my next modular layout update. You'll get a better perspective from it. So that's what I've been working on. And yeah, it's all good stuff. I love it. It's definitely the best hobby. Nothing compares to it when it comes to just community, camaraderie, to the sandbox of it all. That's what makes it so much fun. Eventually, I've had these videos planned for a while now. I just kind of haven't had the time. I've got an Atherin. What the heck is this called? Phase 4 P40s. So Split Rock, I was just talking about that a little bit earlier. So I do have a Bachmann GS4, and my God, scale trains. Again, I don't want to rant on it because I did talk about this a little bit. Bachmann is the worst when it comes to GS4. I do have one. I did buy one because no one of the manufacturers freaking create them. I know MTH has them, but they're so hard to find now. I know Broadway Limited came out with one, but they're also hard to get. I am praying that Scale Trains, because they bought the MTH tooling for the GS4, I am waiting and hoping they announce it soon that they'll start manufacturing their GS4s from MTH. But yeah, and actually I was going to run the Bachmann GS4, but when I was testing it, it kept derailing all my turns. Like, I do not have luck when it comes to the 444 engines. The GS4 always gives me problems. The FEFs always give me problems. But, yeah. Oh, BCF Parts, thanks so much for that subscription. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Icey family. Oh, yes, Lionel, yeah. I'll have to convert it, though, to DCC. But yes, you're right, Lionel did make it back in the day. But yeah, that's the trick, if you can find one. GS4s are just so rare, and I don't understand it because to me, it feels like there's a huge demand for those. Especially in California. Like, when I was living in California, that was a huge demand engine. Uh-oh. No, stop. I hear crunching, and, yeah, my Burlington route engines crash into my big boy. No, stop. Thank you. Give me 1 second. I gotta deal with some drunk engineers. Oh, now you want a short. I see how it is. Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, the FES for sure. So I got to see an FEF. So when I was growing up, there was an FEF in Salt Lake City, Utah, at Pioneer Park, and they moved it from Pioneer Park to Ogden Station. I think it was the 838, I want to say. I've got pictures of it. I gotta find them. But yeah, I was able to see an FEF in person. The 844, I haven't been able to see in person, but like I said, I'm a UP guy, so I love the FEFs. It's just I am cursed when it comes to FEFs in HO scale. I do have some. I've got a DC1 from Atherin, put away right now because when it comes to FEFs, for some reason I just don't have like the proper turn radiuses. I just don't have it probably lined up perfectly. But I always tend to have one wheel that just pops off, and that's the same issue I've been having with GS4s. So I'm just cursed when it comes to 444 engines. But I've been debating if I want to get one from Broadway Limited. I'm kind of tempted to, but I want to get the grayscale. Let me bring something real quick. I'll show you guys a few things. Okay, let me switch cameras real quick here. Let me hang on, guys. Let me create a new scene real quick here. Give me one hot minute. Okay, let me add myself real quick. Alright, so let me make this nice and big. Okay, so yeah, we're talking about the GS4. So there's the Bachmann GS4. This is going to be a shelf queen. I only bought this because I wanted it. Yeah, I know, right? I only wanted it because I wanted one in my collection. Because I used to have a Bachmann way back in the day, but it's at my parents' place. But, so yeah, I do have a GS4. I wanted one for my collection. And not only that, I wanted the GS4 in the, oh, what the heck is this configuration? Oh, the American Freedom Train. So again, they're more than likely going to be shelf queens. Hi, Mary. Our supervisor's here. This is Mary. She's the supervisor cat. Make sure that I'm doing my job. And then we're also talking about FEFs. So I actually got this from my last train show. This is a DC FEF. Eventually, I will convert this to DCC. It's one of my many projects to get done. So yeah, AHM. And then we were talking about Atherin. This is the 844 Atherin that I bought at the Ogden train show many years ago. That I'll eventually convert this to DCC. It's DC right now, is why I don't see it running. So yeah, there she is. And yes, it has the proper configuration of the Mars light. It's not FEF without the Mars light. Oh, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful engine. I just wish I knew the difference between DCC and DCC ready, because I wish I bought DCC ready, so that would be an easy conversion to make. Actually, it may be DCC ready. I see a board in here. But I'll eventually convert it. Oh, I can imagine, Split Rock. I can imagine. So like I said, I'm a huge fan of UP, and I love the transitional era. Like I said, I had Ogden Station right in my backyard, essentially, so I always had access to an FEF on display. Let me see if I have pictures. I think it's on my Instagram. Let me find my Instagram real quick. Yeah, yeah. I'm I'm hoping. See, the box doesn't say DCC ready, and that's my thing. I'm not sure. I have to open up the tender to see if it has either the eight pin converter, so I can just put a decoder in there. I'm really hoping, because then we can get FEF on this layout. So one of these days, I'll open it up and see what's got inside. I'm really hoping. But if not, I am learning how to convert DC to DCC. Yeah. Let me see if I have pictures of the Ogden station. I think I do. I just gotta find it. I think it's on my Instagram. Let's see here. I can't remember. Maybe it's that. I don't know. Let me check my phone. Maybe it's on my phone. Instagram's such a pain in the butt sometimes. But yeah, I had a big blow turbine that I would see every day. I had a Centennial there. Like, I was spoiled with UP stuff. Let's see. Yeah, let's see if I can. And what's cool is that the Scale Train's gas turbine is the Ogden Union Station one, so I was super happy when I found that. So yeah, that's there's the FEF there when I had it on display. You guys have seen the gas turbine plenty of times. Oh, I know I have it here somewhere. Yeah, that's why I love UP so much. And I love the fact that they were able to save not only a big boy, but a Challenger and a 5000 series engine that they're going to be restoring. I am like super excited. Yep. So here it is. So this is the Ogden station. It's on my Instagram. This is the 833. This one was moved from Salt Lake City downtown to Ogden. And man, I had so much fun. This is a 26 gas turbine that's there. And that's actually you've seen a couple of videos. I have been running the gas turbine on this layout. Um, yeah, I love UP. I love UP. I love their family tree. It's just got some amazing stuff. And that's one thing about the hobby is that sometimes, depending on who you are, you'll need to set rules for yourself when it comes to collecting. And my rule is that, I try not to adventure out of the UP family tree. Sometimes I will. Like I have a New York Central. I also have a T1 that's DCC ready that I'll eventually convert over. So, yeah, I love it. So yeah, those are the FEFs. Oh, that's actually going to be well, I don't know if I want to say I already bought it. I know exactly what I'm getting, and I'm hoping it comes in the mail. Let's see, should I say it? Yeah, I'll say it. Just for you guys, because I love live streaming. So I have bought my next engine. It cost me a penny. It cost me a penny, but this particular engine only comes in 2 different manufacturers, and unfortunately, it's in freaking brass. I hate it. But I was able to manage to secure, and I'm praying it gets here. I've got, hopefully it gets here, I'm crossing fingers. A brass, fully painted coal turbine from UP. Number 80 is in my collection. I'm hoping it gets here, though. As soon as I get that, I'm making a video, and it's going to go out because it was the last engine that I wanted in my collection to complete the gas turbine, or to complete the turbine family. And you can only get the coal turbine from an old brass manufacturer. It's like NJ Brass and Overland Brass. And I think Overland Models just re-released the brass in all DCC. But the stupid thing is like $6,500. It's stupidly retarded how expensive it is. And I saw that, it's like, man, that's outside my reach. But I was able to score one for like 6 times less that price. It was the deal of a lifetime. I had the money saved because I knew the HO coal turbine existed. And when I saw one that was like the cheapest price I ever seen one, I grabbed it. So, needless to say, and I'm praying shipping, again, knock on wood, that shipping and everything works the way really crossing fingers that it gets here. Then I'll basically have all the engines that I ever wanted. Because I've got the, let me show you something else, Split Rock. There's one more engine I want to show you. So in my lifetime, there were several engines that I've always wanted. So obviously, this was one of them. This is the Scale Trains gas turbine. This is actually 26 from Ogden. This is the A version, or yeah, A unit. This is the B unit. And then we got the C unit, which is basically the tender. So that was engine number 1 that I've always wanted as a kid. But unfortunately, they only made it in brass at the time. And I don't understand. Like, all the unique engines that I've always liked, it was always made in brass. Until Scale Trains actually announced that they were going to make them, and man, I was giddy with excitement. And when I was able to score one, oh, I was happy. The second engine that I've always wanted was this guy. So, I love big boys. But this big boy meant a lot to me because this one is the 4019. This is the only big boy that had, you can see right there, it has what we call the elephant ears or the smoke deflectors. You see them a lot on later Challengers. But the 4019 was the only big boy to have the experiment. And I think there was only one run of these done by Atherin. Oh, trust me, I have a whole set of words for MTH's proto sound decoders. So this is Big Boy 4019, as you can see. Hang on. I should be doing this. You can see it has those elephant ears on the side. I wanted this one really bad because, you know, everyone in the mother has a big boy. 4014 is so overhyped, over popular. Like, I don't want a 4019. I want to be different. And when I did my research on the big boys, for a very limited time before the gas turbines became very popular with Union Pacific, 4019 was the only one that had the smoke deflectors. And I did my research and realized, oh crap, they actually made a run of these. And so whenever I was able to find one on eBay, I grabbed it as soon as I can. Because not only do I have a big boy, I have one of the rare ones. and I'm really, really excited. But the only problem with this big boy is that it has Tsunami 1 decoders, and they're trash, in my opinion. I've had a lot of problems with this one, unfortunately. So right now it is a shelf queen, but I am learning how to convert decoders. So I'm going to convert this one to a soundtrack. It is a mission of mine to change this. Let me also show you one more thing I forgot to get. Yeah, that's what I'm planning to do, Split Rock. I am new when it comes to swapping out decoders, so I've done a lot of research, and I'm going to obviously practice on ones that are less valuable than that one. I'm going to get a lot more practice in, but that is the goal. I'm going to swap out the decoders on that one. So this one is very special to me. So this engine was the first one that, this was the first steam engine my father got me, and it's one I'm going to eventually convert as well. But I love River Rossi. Like I love the company. The big boy back there is one of the modern River Rossis. I wish River Rossi was more popular. I wish they made more before they're not really gone under per se. They're just less in the market, unfortunately. Um, but this is very special to me. I didn't realize just what I had until I got a little bit older. This is Big Boy 40002. 4002. It is one of the fantasy scheme Greyhound, and this has probably got the most amount of miles that I've ever ran. I ran this so hard that it didn't work for the longest time, and then I had a club member back in Montana repair it for me, and kind of showed me how to repair it. And so this is probably one of my more favorite big boys for sure. Obviously with its tender. Yeah, I've got I do have I do have a couple of videos on the channel on this guy running. So that's another thing I forgot to talk about. So the very beginning of my channel, some of the earlier videos, there was a 4 modular layout, DC layout, that was called like the Mythical City. I am bringing that layout back. I am rebuilding in my garage. Unfortunately, in the move, a lot of the track got broken, so I got to repair it. But I will have a DC layout up and running, so we can start seeing this guy again. But yeah, this is one of those things like if my house ever catches on fire, obviously my pets will be first things that I grab. This will be like the second thing. This is what mono railroading is all about. It really is. So yeah, this thing is like, when did I get this? Oh goodness, let's see. 90, 2000. This is like 25 years old, roughly. This engine. Yeah, many memories, many memories running this engine. Oh, in fact, if you go to my Instagram, you'll see. I gotta figure out how to get those videos off of Instagram so I can make it as shorts. But yeah, on my Instagram, I have this engine running on a layout in Montana because they had a DC layout at the time, and so I ran this engine hard during shows. I also have I have a couple cab forwards that are in River Rossi, but they don't run right now. I've got to do some extensive motor overhauls. Because one bad thing about River Rossi is if you got like the Generation 1 River Rossi engines, their engines. So let me back up a little bit. So River Rossis, they're hit or miss. If you want to get into the old River Rossi stuff, their second gen engines are usually the way to go. And you'll notice the difference because they won't have the motor in the cab. Most AHE and River Rossis have the motor in the cab, and those ones you typically want to stay away from or get them replaced because they're not as reliable. But they converted most of their engines to the ones on the inside. I think the flywheels, I can't quite remember. But that's what this one is. It has the... why did my engine stop? Did my battery just die? Do I have a short? Let's see here. Okay, there we go. But yeah, the River Rossis that have the if you don't see a motor in the cab, those are the ones you want to go after. Typically, they'll be in these type of boxes. And most hobby stores, if they have one of these, they know what they have. And unfortunately, these are going for like $300-400. It's kind of ridiculous. I wouldn't pay that much unless it's fully converted to DCC. Then it's probably worthwhile because I've had little issue with those. It just needed some cleaning when I wasn't running the first time that I didn't know at the time. But I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a long answer to your question there. It's like what engines? Like it's the coal turbine that I've got coming in. Right now it's DC brass, but I'm going to convert DCC. Definitely on my to-do list. But I think the next engine that I really want to grab is a Greyhound Scheme Challenger with the elephant ears. And I'm just debating which company I want to go through. If I want to go through Athearn or I want to go through Broadway Limited. But we'll see. It just depends. But if it's one thing I like MTH for, though, I kind of switched gears a little bit because we're talking about MTHs. MTHs, because my 9000 engine is a MTH, and its connection to the tender is probably the best I've ever seen, because instead of using pins like Broadway Limited uses and Athearn uses, its connector is actually through the hole. You basically got the hole and it goes into the thing to pull, and it has a wire and the whole thing is metal, so that way you don't have to deal with the wires. You just put the peg in the hole, so to speak, and you got your connection to the tender. And that's one thing I loved about steam engines from MTH, and I'm hoping that Scale Trains implements that. They just need to change out the decoders because I can't stand Proto Sound 3s having the program on the main. It is such a pain in the butt to deal with because they don't program on the programming track. They're not recognizing the programming track, and it drives me freaking crazy when it comes to jam. All right, so who are you? Supervisor, get off the tables, please. I know you're inspecting my work. Come here. Thank you. But that's my biggest complaint with MTH is that their decoders are trash. But the engines are heavy. I love how heavy they are. The couplers suck as well. They tried to implement like the Lionel automatic coupler decoupler system, and those couplers are absolutely trash. I replaced all of them on mine. Like I said, this is an MTH diesel, and yeah, the first thing I do is replace the couplers, and eventually I want to replace the decoders. But again, that's a project for another day. So yeah, the Challenger would definitely, the Greyhound Challenger would be the next poly steamer that I get. But again, that's going to be later down the road, I think. I'm kind of, had to save up a little more money considering the big purchase I made with the coal turbine. That was not a cheap engine, but it was still cheap in retrospect to like the $6,000 one that's being produced now. So stupid. Like, scale trains. Why can't you tool a coal turbine and make it cheaper? Please. But it's all good. I'm just happy that I'm again, hopefully shipping works right. But yeah, I'm definitely excited. Cannot wait. So yeah, Challenger. There's some other ones from Broadway Limited I've been looking into because they've got some Fantasy Greyhound of the big boy that I've been looking into because that'll look nice for the California Zephyr train that I have. So that's like another one that I'm looking into. It's just Broadway Limited. I have, I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with them too because of their steamers. So I'm skeptical to go Broadway Limited. I do like their packaging. I like their concept that you don't have to connect or disconnect their cable for the tender. I think that's something that everyone should implement, especially Atherin. I'm looking at you. But I've got some Broadway Limited steamers. I think it's 260 steamer engines that I have. And they're really finicky on the switches. Their flanges, I'm just not satisfied with the flanges. I've been having problems with them over switches. Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll derail going on a throne turnout. And that's even with Pico track. So I don't know. I'm just not quite satisfied with Broadway Limited just yet to fully commit into getting a big boy from them. But yeah, as I was saying, I've got an Amtrak, so I'm going to convert this DCC ready. So it's going to be one of my next videos eventually. And then this is probably, let's do main screen here. This is my only Bowser engine. This was on sale, I believe. I'm trying to remember where I got this from. I think it was on sale at Train World. It's a Western Pacific diesel. It is a Baldwin VO1000 engine. It's DCC ready, so I'll convert this one as well. Because I actually want to use this engine for Samram, again, the club that I'm with, for ops. And what's cool about the ops is that as long as you keep it, transitional air type of engines, you can bring your own engine and run the cars and everything. It's not as strict when it comes to ops, which is what I love about it. It's a very intro-level op session, or newcomy friendly. So definitely want to get this converted to use for ops. And then definitely, this is always a channel favorite. Like, this engine, I don't know what it is about this engine, but I guess the algorithm or you guys like it so much, but it is definitely the most viewed, the most popular engine on my channel. And to be honest, it's one of my favorites as well. But it's this guy. This is the Ketachrome SP. Was it G something? I can't. These names, I have terrible with these names. EMD GP9. But this guy's been so freaking popular. Like, one of my shorts has 15K. It's one of my top views, like at 1,300 when I initially showcased this. But it's just been one of those engines that, and this is Walther's mainline. And I think I got this really cheap too. I think I got this for like, oh man, I can't even remember how much I got this for. I want to say it was like 110 I got. It was full DC. I think I got this from Amazon. Full DCC with sound. And it's been, I've never had a problem with it. Like, if you really want to get an entry-level engine into the hobby that's cheap, like Walther's mainline, I am so impressed with. But I love this engine. This engine has been a workhorse too. It has always been involved into testing the layout. This has been my camera train. This is what pulls the camera. It has definitely been a workhorse for sure. Yeah. And then I do have some more oddball things, like I've got some roundhouse stuff. Eventually, once I've got some roundhouse shays that I need to build. And I've got 2 kits from the shays. I got a 2-truck shay and a 3-truck shay I gotta build. I've got somewhere. I don't think it's here though. I think it's my parents' place. I have a Climax. I think it's a Bachman Climax, and I can't remember what the other one is. It's a River Rossi though, of the geared. And I've got so much DC stuff that I gotta convert over. Like, I'm just looking at this one. It needs some work, but I bought this used. It was really cheap when I bought it, but I've got the coaches for it, and this is the American Express train that I got here. I gotta convert the coaches to metal wheels and all that. This is actually a River Rossi. It's a River Rossi Orient Express, American Orient Express. So. I love tinkering. Eventually, I'll get into scratch building. That's the next step into things, and it's something that I want to learn, especially since I really want to dive into this MMR program from NMRA. So eventually, we'll start scratch building stuff. So I'm excited. I'm excited where things are going. But yeah, I mean, over here, I got my workshop bench with all my gizmos and gadgets and toys, and it's always fun. Yeah, I love it. I love this hobby. It's the world's greatest hobby for a reason. Alrighty. I am actually starting to lose my voice a little bit. 2 hours. That's pretty impressive. I love this stream. I love streaming. I'm happy that you guys are here. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. We're gonna go ahead and stop this engine back here because it's actually in the perfect spot that I want to put it for storage. But so yeah, I will have some things that are upcoming. I've got another episode of the fun runs from Samra that I will be releasing this weekend. I will be creating the next video episode of the modular layout, talking about kind of with the things I talked about today on what I'm doing with the layout, that the expansions I'm going to do for N-Scale, the T-Track stuff. We got an N-Scale layout that we're going to convert into a DCC, LCC configuration, because I think I do want to dive into LCC just to see what it's all about. Yeah, you too, Split Rock. Thank you for coming. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see. And I think those are some main videos that I'll put out. And then, obviously, as I announced here, I'm going to dive into being an MMR and see if we can do it. It'll be a multi-decade journey. I've decided to go ahead and dive into it, see if start that journey and document it here on YouTube, and see what happens. Really excited for that. And so there'll be a lot more scratch building stuff, a lot more painting as well. And all of this would be kind of just a documentary and what I'm learning, what I want to explore, and going into that MMR path. So, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining again. Those of you who are watching the replay, again, thank you for watching. Greatly appreciate all you guys' support. The channel has been growing ridiculously. We're approaching 400 subscribers. Again, we got about 40 more to go. On to that goal of 1,000 by the end of 2023. Cannot wait. Definitely more live streams. And with that, thank you guys so much. Wing hugs and have a great